Very, very pleased that Ned saw fit to appoint me as the national chairperson for this very, very worthy undertaking. I'm thrilled to death to be a part of it, and I just want to give you a little running update on where we stand at the moment. And there are a couple of little items here that you might be interested in hearing that have taken place. I spoke to Bob.
Hold on, everyone, for a second.
I spoke to Bob Costello this morning, and I said to him, Bob, you're going to have to give me at least a ballpark figure on where we are at this point in time, because when I go down to New York tonight, I know that people are going to be asking me, and I would like to be able to give them some sort of an accurate figure. And he said, Jack, you can be safe enough in saying that we are pushing $50,000 in 3 weeks' time. 3 weeks' time. That has grown substantially tonight. I have checks in my pocket that I received tonight in excess of $10,000, and that's not even what Frank collected here tonight. I know there was some substantial checks made out here tonight. There are a couple of little incidents that, hello Malachi, there are a couple of little incidents here that you may like to hear about that kind of illustrate what wonderful people we deal with when you're working for a very good cause. And there was a young boy who won our National History Day Award down at the University of Maryland. He happened to come from Somerville, Massachusetts, and he won our top award. And his dad called me. I told his dad that his dad said to me, Jack, I think he's already received a check. I said, that can't be. I said, I have his check right here in my hand. But I said, just to save any difficulty afterwards, why don't you let me check with the National Treasurer? So I called Seamus, and Seamus says, no, Jack, the only check I made out is the one you have. So I called Mike McCormick, and he said, Jack, sometimes the University of Maryland will also give a prize if the project is worthy of it, which was what happened. The kid got 2 top prizes. He called me up, and this is a young schoolboy in the 6th grade. He said to me, Mr. Meehan, I never expected to get 2 prizes. And I understand from my dad that you're chairing a committee to help the people down in New Orleans. And I said, that's correct, Rupert. He says to me, well, what I would like to do is donate one of my prizes back to your fund. Well, I had a massive lump in my throat because I have children of my own, and I said, Reuben, I really couldn't do that. I said, if you were an adult, I might give it some consideration, but I said, you're just a young boy, and you obviously worked very, very hard to have a project that was nationally recognized, not only by the Hibernians, but also by the faculty of the University of Maryland. So I said, I also want you to know that you will be duly recognized for making the offer, and I don't think the fact that it was accepted or rejected has any bearing whatsoever on the fact that you were exceptional in offering to give it back. So Mrs. Catherine Scullin from Flushing, New York, whose son Warren is here right now this evening, sent me a check that she donated in memory of her husband, who was a very proud Hibernian and who was a victim of the heinous attack on the World Trade Center on 9/11. And she sent a check in the amount of $5,000. That's her son Warren. I immediately sat down at my computer and wrote her a personal letter of thanks. There'll be other letters going out, of course, but that one I felt needed to be answered right away. Jerry Quinn, I'm sure somebody here must know Jerry Quinn. I know Karen Staunton knows him. Jerry Quinn is a very good friend of mine from Galway, very successful in the pub business in Boston, and his generosity is legendary in Boston throughout the Irish community. And Jerry had just finished having a house completely remodeled. And he called me here about a week and a half ago and he said, Jack, I think I'm going to move out. He says, and let them have the run of the house. So he donated a brand newly remodeled house to a family of 7 children and a mother and father. And he, as he says, for as long as it takes. And that would include all expenses. Another brother Hibernian from my own division. Pat McGuire. Pat McGuire, the president of the Michigan State Board, gave me checks totaling $3,500 when I was out to the Michigan State Convention a couple of months ago. The men and women of Rockland County, New York, Division 3, conducted a monster auction and raffle which raised an incredible $11,000. Chicago Division 32, their annual outing raised $2,000. Foz Ryan, the Illinois State President, gave me checks to go along with that in the amount of $2,250. So I walked away from installing the new Illinois State Board with checks totaling $4,250. I would like to personally thank my friend Karen Staunton for his generosity here tonight. Karen and I go back a long, long way. Back to the days of the undocumented Irish in Boston. And when Karen decided to relocate to the Big Apple, I felt that Boston's loss was New York's gain. I get shinny near Karen. So, and I still feel the same way. Kieran is a great guy. He's always there for whatever help may be needed. And I would like to extend the most sincere thanks of both boards and the committee to Carmel Riley for her outstanding work. And that also comes from the bottom of the heart. I mean that very sincerely, Carmel. It's very clear that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
I'm not sure if that's better brand.
At last count, we were approaching $50,000 with checks being received on a nearly daily basis. As the national chairman of this most worthy charitable effort, I can only say very, very humbly, Kora mila mahagi agus palo iya. Thank you.